Welcome back to Realville. Hope you had a great day. Welcome back to the most non-biased, non-partisan, non-political show right here on YouTube. And today we're talking illegal immigration. If you live in America and you know anything about American history, anything about world history, you have to actually admit one thing. That America, the current America, not the native America, the current America was built on slave labor. And what we're seeing today is that old addiction of free, cheap slave labor rearing its ugly head right here in America in the form of illegal immigration. The only reason for illegal immigration is, as you see in the news, as you see when you hear from the upper echelon in economics, is cheap labor. Cheap labor, the jobs that Americans don't want. Here are illegal immigrants that want to take the jobs. They're willing to do the jobs that Americans don't want to do. That's a lie, and I'm going to prove to you that that's a lie. It's not that illegal immigration or illegal immigrants or immigrants in any fashion is coming to America to get jobs that Americans don't want. Americans will work any job. It's not that Americans do not want these jobs. It's just that Americans want to be paid accordingly for these jobs. That's the big difference. Americans are not lazy. We built this country from the ground up. We're still building cities and building towns. America isn't lazy. Our forefathers were not lazy. But we've come to a point where we feel that we understand and we know what a job costs. We know what it costs to be out in the field, in the elements, in the heat, in the cold, in the rain. We want to be paid accordingly. It's nothing lazy about wanting to be paid accordingly. But what's happening in America is America has looked overseas. America has looked at China and has looked at India and has looked at Vietnam and all of these Asian countries. And they've said to themselves, we can do that. We can do that. We can get cheap labor. America is so addicted to cheap labor, so addicted to slave labor, that they've actually sent all of the manufacturing jobs overseas. What, we can't make things in America? Why is nothing made in America? Why is everything made in China? Is because superior products are made in China? There's only one reason. There's only one reason that everything is made in China. Slave labor. And we ought to be ashamed of ourselves. Businessmen ought to be ashamed of themselves. But America, filled with grief, filled with addiction, all she wants is, how can I get things done for free? How can I get things done without paying for anything? And her number one reason for illegal immigration is, you know what? We can bring some of this manufacturing back home. We can't do that. Americans want too much money. Not if we let in a couple of illegal immigrants. Not if we let in 5 million, 6 million, 10 million illegal immigrants that can actually come in and want to do these jobs for $5, $6, $7, $8, $9 an hour. And our people, our citizens want 14. We can let in a 10 million people that only want 8. Now we can bring those manufacturing jobs back home, and now we don't have to pay China, number one, to do anything. We don't have to export anything. We can do it right here. If they're bringing back manufacturing jobs, they're bringing back manufacturing jobs because now they found the source for the slave labor right at home. They don't need the slave labor from China if they can get their own source. America is very smart. America wants her own source of slave labor. Blacks don't want to do it anymore. The white folks that came from England, they don't want to do it no more. Indentured servants and all of those people, they stopped doing it. We got to find some slaves. They brought over the black slaves. The black slaves got free. Black people don't want to do it anymore. Black people don't want to do the worst jobs in the world and not be compensated for. What are we going to do? We'll send all the jobs to China. Now you're getting to the point that America is waking up to the slavery that's going on in China, and America is protesting and kicking back. So we got to pull the wool over their eyes again. If we can't get the cheap slave labor in Vietnam, if we can't get the cheap slave labor in China, we got to find some cheap sources of slave labor right here at home. And the American businessmen are so smart and so shrewd, and they've locked it up into a political battle to make you think that illegal immigration is a political thing when it's not political, it's economical. It's a way for your daughters, and they're getting people right here in America to say, let them in. Let them in. It's a humanitarian crisis. Those people are coming here because they're trying to escape the problems at home. You think America cares about the problems abroad if it's not about a dollar? If it doesn't increase her foothold in the world, she doesn't care. She can care less. But she's seen that if I can get people on my side, on the humanitarian side, people with good hearts, people that's all about world peace, if I can get a good amount of people saying, let them in, save them, we can make a whole lot of money. And that's what you're seeing in America today. What American citizens don't realize is that the jobs that their daughters and their sons could have at good paying wages, construction jobs that our children were supposed to have, building these high rises, building these apartment complex communities, building these houses. Our children should have these jobs at $15, $20, $25 an hour, $30 an hour. Good manual labor jobs. We're losing them. We're losing all of them to people that's going to come in the country. And this is no slight to any illegal immigrant. This is just news. This is just facts. They're going to come in this country and they're going to work for $12, $11.50, $10. Because when they send that money back home, it's double and triple the amount of what they would be making back home. So they can actually live here and support a family back home just off of what you're not willing to work for. Once again, I said, it's not that we don't want to do the work. It's not that Americans don't want to build apartments. It's not that Americans don't want to work on the roads. It's that Americans don't want to be paid $8 to do something that companies are making a buttload of money, and all you're going to give me is $9 an hour, when you know for each employee, you probably making over $100 an hour on the work of each employee. It's not a lazy thing. It's an addiction thing. This country is addicted to slave labor. Whether you look at it from slavery or whether you look at it from right now today, illegal immigration, all it is just a source of slave labor. Thank you for watching the most non-biased, non-partisan, non-political show on YouTube. It's not personal. It's never personal. It's just news.